Hello, everyone. I wanted to take an opportunity to help you study, learn, and take notes in my course. Now, an Intro to Psychology course is a broad knowledge class, right? It's an introduction to our discipline. Now, psychology is massive. It is a massive, massive field. So what we're doing is we're kind of skimming along the surface. And as you go further, if you're a psych major, as you go further, you'll be taking more and more classes that are going to drill down into the specifics, right? So for example, we're going to spend 1 week covering personality. There's a whole class that you will take as a psychology major just in personality. So that kind of gives you an idea of how you have 1 week's worth of material in an intro class like ours versus 16 weeks of material in an upper level psychology course. So keeping that in mind, that we've got a large volume of information, I want to help you learn, study, and take notes for this course. So let's begin. The first thing that I want you to do is make sure you buy the textbook. I have students who ask, do I need the textbook? Absolutely. For an online class, it is absolutely crucial that you have the textbook. So not having the textbook for an online class is like buying a Ferrari and not having enough money for gas. It really is pointless. I can almost guarantee you that you'll fail. I hate to say that because that sounds so harsh, but 90% of the time in an online class, when one of my students does not have the textbook, they fail the class. So when you're asking yourself, do I need the textbook or not? The question you should be asking yourself is, do I want to throw away money on a class that I'm going to have to take again? So please, please, please buy the textbook, okay? Now, some students have asked, do I need the 3rd edition versus the 2nd edition? The 3rd edition is what we are learning from. So I want you to get the 3rd edition. However, if because of money or for whatever reason, you can't get the 3rd edition, the 2nd edition will do in a pinch. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So the very first thing I need you to do is buy the textbook. Okay. The second thing I need you to do is pay attention to what we are going over every single week, what the chapter is, what the requirements are for every single week. Now, you'll notice in our course that I don't have everything open. There's not the whole 16 weeks open. That's purposeful. It helps you focus when you don't have all 16 weeks open. I want you to stay on pace with everyone else. So I'm only going to be opening up a couple of weeks at a time. And again, that's a strategy that I've developed over the years to help you pace yourself, not jump so far ahead that you forget that you're even in a psychology class, right? So we want to work with the class over time. So the third thing I need you to do is get a timer just like this. Okay, so I have my phone out in front of me, and I want you to use the timer on your phone. At the very beginning of our week, which our week starts on Monday, I want you to grab your textbook, and I want you to open it up to the chapter for that week. And I want you to set your timer for 5 minutes and 5 minutes only. And in 5 minutes, I want you to flip through, skimming what we're going over that particular chapter. Okay? Only 5 minutes. I want you to get a feel for what it is that we are covering from the beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter. Then I want you to grab your phone and I want you to put 25 minutes on your timer. 25 minutes only. 25 minutes on your timer. Then get out your notebook, pull up the PowerPoint, and get out your textbook. And I want you to go through with your notes as you read. Now, key point, I need you to read first, then look at the PowerPoints, and then take notes. Your notes are not to replace reading. Your notes are to help you with what you've read. So your notes narrow down information and highlight key points. Your notes are not rewriting the textbook. So reading is the first thing you do, and you rely on that beautiful brain you've been given to absorb the information. So you read first, you look at the PowerPoint to accompany it, and then you take notes. In your notes, I want you to use the headings that the book provides you. And I want you to make major points in your notes. And I want you to write down any bolded, defined words. Okay? So write down your headings, write down major points, write down any bolded, defined words. The last thing I want you to do in your notes is I want you to somehow connect what you're reading back to you. Whether it's something unique that you learned that was interesting, whether it be something that you've experienced before, a movie that you've read, a song you've heard, somebody that brought this up, a person that reminds you of this, whatever it may be. Okay, I want you to connect it back to yourself. That will really anchor that information in your brain. After 25 minutes is up, stop what you're doing. When the timer goes off at 25 minutes, stop what you're doing. Get up for 5 minutes, walk around, get you something to drink, use the restroom, text somebody back, whatever you need to do. Then, when that 5 minutes is up, set your timer again for 25 minutes. Focus for that 25 minutes, going through the note strategy that I just mentioned. Read first PowerPoint notes that are giving you the highlights, that are narrowing things down, okay? Your highlights, main points, bolded words, defined words, and how it applies to you, okay? Then after this second 25 minutes is up, 5 minutes of walking around, okay? Every 25 and 5 is considered to be one cycle. I want you to do this starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as many cycles as it takes for you to get through the entire chapter, okay? And think to yourself, chapter 1 took me 5 cycles. Chapter 2 took me 4 cycles. And you'll notice you'll start speeding up, okay? That's good. That's efficiency. But the key point that I want you to understand is you've got to have the textbook, okay? You've got to be aware of what you're covering. You've got to read first. So this class is fully on you, okay? I'm not lecturing in a traditional style. So the information comes from the textbook and you reading it and then being assessed over what you know. So unlike a traditional classroom where you have a teacher who's explaining things to you, that's not what this course is about. And I want you to make sure you're clear on that because I don't want you to be disappointed when I'm not there to explain the things to you, okay? Now, if there are questions after you've read, that's when you send an email. That's when you get in contact with me. I'll be happy to explain it. But it's not going to be on the front side. The front side work is your independent learning for you to be successful in the class, okay? So hopefully this will help you with your understanding of how to learn, how to take notes, right? How to really retain the information from our class together and gives you some idea of those expectations that we have, okay? So have a fantastic time, and I know if you use these strategies, you will do well in my class.